I talk to?
Can I help you? You're interrupting me. Is this time accounted for?
Accounted for.
We're on a strict schedule. I just want to make sure this impromptu meeting is properly tracked. I doubt that. I check my schedule regularly, and this conversation was not on the budget. If time is money, then suffice to say Ms. Serrano would not be pleased with such a frivolous expenditure. Ms. Yuko Serrano? Senior Operations Specialist at Ryujin Industries? She's one of the heads of the department you're standing in. You may have a point. And since you clearly have bandwidth to spare, maybe you can help me clean up a, minor indiscretion. Contractually, yes, but I'd rather avoid the embarrassment. Normally, I do a good job of setting boundaries between work and life. This incident is an exception.
What assignments are you currently working on?
I'm not at liberty to say. I will remind you of another common phrase: loose lips sink ships. So, be cautious around the office and discuss intel at your peril.
What's your schedule like here?
Each assigned shifts to assist operatives, ensuring coverage at all hours. Personally, I like to keep my circadian rhythms intact. Early to rise, early to bed, as nature intended. Good. Let me give you some background. Recently, I've been assisting the impoverished in both Ebbside and the underbelly. I pay for the occasional meal, clinic visit, or comfort. But I may have lost a slate in the process. I need you to locate and retrieve it for me. Pre-assignment intel for one of our operatives. The contents themselves aren't too sensitive, so if you're thinking of betraying me, they aren't worth much as leverage. My sloppiness is simply an embarrassment that I'd like to correct. It's not a matter of trust, but one of time. I have little to spare. You do not. Then we have an agreement. Good. Go to the underbelly and talk to the panhandler, Huang. Discarded items are her specialty, so she may have come across the slate herself. If you can manage to find it, bring it back to me, and I will pay you for the time. Perhaps I can best explain with an analogy. There is an aquatic species on Voli Epsilon, which, by cruel irony or test of metal, hatches on dry land. Only 1 in 10,000 make it to adulthood. Most are eaten, some simply die in the crawl to the ocean. Meanwhile, there is a similar species that is born in the water itself. They never make this journey and thus never know its hardship, which begs the question, is that fair?
Life is not fair.
In the natural world, I'd agree, but here, we can make a change. I know what you're thinking, and I am not what you'd call a bleeding heart. Moreover, I find the underbelly filthy and unsanitary. But I also believe in equity. I am well aware that my life came with a head start, so I try my best to balance the equation and bring the hatchlings to the water.
Fair enough.
I don't wish to speak ill of them, of course. It's not their fault, just a fact. But as much as I dislike the underbelly, I will say this. It is a welcome change of pace. When you spend all day keeping secrets, a burden is placed on one's conscience. The time I spend volunteering sheds some of that weight. As you were.
Take care of it.
Oh, what's that?
If you got any spare creds, I can always take them off your hands. Hey, Chief, you got any creds you can spare?
Yeah, I'll give you some.
Thank you kindly. You're a class bass, you know that? I'll do my best to someday pay you back. Street's honor. This isn't a donation, it's an investment.
A reusing technician wanted to know if you found any slates.
Oh, I totally did. Found it in the dumpster right next to a half-eaten chunk. And it was perfect timing, really. You see, the other day, the wind got a nasty cough and blew away all of my business spreadsheets. But that won't happen with this slate. It's like wind resistant.
You keep spreadsheets?
I do. I write them on napkins you get from the eateries, and I use sauce packets for ink. It's not a perfect system, but it's pretty damn close.
Keep the slate, just make sure you wipe all the data on it.
Way ahead of you, Chief. I was gonna wipe that slate like a dirty counter. You tell your pal at Ryujin, all his weird corporate secrets are safe.
Okay.
I feel the life and happiness draining from my body already.
Wong found your slate, but the data's been erased.
Make it I see. That is actually an acceptable outcome. Given my deadline, I'll go ahead and rewrite the data and pass it on to the operative. If the data on the original slate has been erased, then no harm is done, save for the cost of the hardware. The cost will come out of your reward, of course, you understand. But thank you for your efforts all the same.
Who cares?